Well, good morning and good afternoon, good evening. I don't know where you are on the face of the world. What an honor again to meet here on your channel, your educational channel or political channel. I don't know what you want to call it. And far and wide, we are here on the African space, discussing African problems and seeking for those critical African solutions. Here on your channel, we discuss African politics, African science, be it medicine, be it education, be it fashion, be it media, be it politics. But the whole idea is to get the African people talking and seeking for African solutions. And I am quite excited this morning to be broadcasting live from Harare, here in Zimbabwe, live from Harare in Zimbabwe. I have a beautiful lined up program for you. I think that will be shooting off from Friday or at most by weekend. We're just setting up the equipment here nicely to make sure that we give you the best of quality and as we are growing together. It has been a roller coaster 2 weeks with lots of stories, false stories and rumors, and everyone wants a piece of the action. Though, of course, some of them do it at a very expensive, cost, where they would just publish anything, anywhere, anyhow, without necessarily finding out if this information is correct or so. But then I'm not here to clarify anything along those lines. Those who are doing it, they fully understand why they are doing it and for what reason they want to achieve what they want to achieve. I created quite a bit of an interesting conversation this morning, which I thought maybe I can't just keep on typing. I would rather take some time to explain the idea that I had in the morning, and this whole concept of political participation and religious inclinations. Particularly the Christians, or be it Muslims, which becomes the two most dominant religions that are on the African continent. You will wait for me a second. I'm just attending to the door here. The live broadcast, so give me some phone in a few minutes. Okay. Let me just get this part done. And sorry about that. I was just opening the door here to some young men who have paid me a visit. Could be the issue of political participation. And I threw up a verse in the morning for those who want to base their belief system on the biblical text, where it says people must listen, obey their political leaders. And that is in the book of Romans. So if you believe in the Bible, that is the premise of the argument. If you believe in the Bible and it is a source of your faith systems, and then you're a Christian, should you be participating in political oppositions? Because this very same Bible you're holding in your hand says you must obey your leaders. See, earlier on, when I started on these programs, and I was telling you that you take some stuff as Christians because it is convenient and it is nice for you to listen to. When you get some other issues, you want to say no, but so you're quite selective in your usage of the Bible. And the argument is quite simple. If you believe that the Bible is the word of God, and the same Bible says you must not oppose your leaders, you must work with them. No, it means therefore that you are a sellout. It means that therefore you have become a ZANU-PF promoter and all that stuff. Well, that's none of your business. I will do a program for you next week exactly, and I'll tell you what is my political party. So don't hurry me. Don't hurry me. I'll tell you that when it is right, this broadcast is proper, and I'll give you the principles of which I've made my own decisions, from opposition to a private, personal political party to a place where I think we can begin the development. But if you say you believe in the Bible, and the Bible says you must not oppose your leaders because your leaders were put there by God, that's what the Bible says, then it means that therefore if the leaders are put by God, it means that the colonialists were put there by God. The death of our people was sanctioned by God. The going of the people to slavery was done by God. Therefore, we must not have problems with each other. We must have a problem with a God who allows us to suffer in the name of religious persuasions. And then they say, no, you cannot use that example because you also have people like Daniel, Shadrach, and Meshach and Abednego. Beautiful. That brings us to the Zimbabwean conversation. Because if you believe in Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were not running an opposition party outside of the parliament of Nebuchadnezzar. They were inside the parliament. They were part of the parliament where the conversations were happening. Even Daniel in chapter 6, he was one of the leaders. He was the prime minister in the parliament. It means, therefore, that if there were issues with Nebuchadnezzar of worshipping idols, if there were issues of dealing with other political or religious conflict issues, like the issue of diet as it appears on the first chapter, you don't argue this from your bush. You argue with Ashpenaz, who is the head of the eunuchs within the house. What am I saying, therefore? That it is important that we don't confuse the biblical text with political ambitions. If the Bible text teaches you and advocates that you must start looking for areas of common convergence, in the same wavelength, therefore, use the same Bible to come back to the table, to negotiate, to talk, and blessed are the peacemakers. Make peace with one another. That is common sense. I think I have a slight advantage as a returning resident into Zimbabwe than some of you people who have been sitting here for the longest of time, and you may feel like, I don't understand. Some people are saying, I don't understand the Zimbabwean politics. I believe you. You are too shallow on the Zimbabwean politics. I believe you. You are narrow-minded. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. But here is my 2 cents worth as a person who has been living in London, who has lived in Johannesburg, who has lived in Swaziland, who has lived in Europe. When I come back to Zimbabwe right now and I drive from Dzivarasekwa, I go to Chitungwiza, I drive through 2nd Avenue, I get down to Magaba, right around. I've taken my time for the past few weeks just driving around and looking at the place. The city is falling apart. I even took a drive to Chivero where the water for Zimbabwe for Harare is being drawn from. And it is not a lie that people in Harare are drinking sewage water. It is not fully and well processed and purified. And yet 60, if not 80% of all these cities are falling within the hands of MDC. So I look at it and say, are we playing politics for politics? Or we're playing politics but holding the people ransom to our political ambitions? Now, what is it? Zimbabwe is developing as I'm looking at it. I'm new. I'm hardly 2 weeks old in terms of being on the ground, but I'm new. But I'm seeing some infrastructure movement without the city of Harare. But Harare remains locked in right there. Therefore, I'm saying that instead of us fighting politics for politics, let's begin to change from political parties into what I want to call national politics. Whoever is building becomes my friend. If a borehole is sunk, a borehole has been sunk for the community to drink. You don't come and pee in the borehole because the person who built it is not your friend. You are now an enemy to the people who are drinking from that well. Therefore, what is right is right. No matter who does it, it does not matter who is doing it. If what they're doing is right, is right. I put up a poster the other day of the airport. Hey, but this airport only Shona is for Shona people, Mazezuru people. Who is shallow now? Are you telling me that the people who jump on the aeroplanes are only Shona people? And it's a national asset where all of us stand to benefit from. My 2 cents worth therefore says, if you want to start seeing development in the country, let's talk unity. Let's talk unity. Let's talk coming together. If the MDCA, MDCT, MDCF, and the new name of the new party, we don't know which other political parties are in the terrain. You cannot change this from shouting outside. Get into the parliament. Yes, you want the constitution to be changed. You can't change the constitution from the bush. Therefore, you need to get into the space where this conversation is. Whether I believe in the constitution or not, that's my own personal argument for another day. But for today, I see people in Harare, I see people in Kwadzana, I see people in Glenview, in Glenora, suffering and struggling. Yet these municipalities are in the hands of the opposition parties. And the budgets of these municipalities is available. But the very same opposition parties are not using that money to develop their own countries and develop their own environment. I say so because I'm coming from South Africa. I've seen this happening many times where the government releases a budget for a municipality, huge budget, millions of rands arrive at a municipality. Then the councillor and the MP and the mayor begin to argue as to who is going to get the contract. So they argue, they tender the contract, someone wins the tender, then they sit around, but who is going to eat in this contract? So they argue and fight, the contract is cancelled, they tender again, 2 years later, 3 years later, they are still arguing amongst each other until that budget is returned back to the National Treasury. You can do this for your own research, I'm not being malicious, that's the truth. So when you talk about people fighting over who will get the contract, instead of people uniting to build the road, build the hospital, build the clinics, build the schools, for the budget of doing those things is available. So the problem is not just the political system that you are dealing with, but the leadership of that political system that holds people ransom. Why? Because Chamisa says, I want all of it or nothing at all. But you can't have everything. You need to come to the table where discussions are happening, put your ideas there, get into the system, get the budgets, let the lives of the people improve. I know why. The opposition leaders don't want to become part of progress. Because if progress happens in Harare right now, they'll be saying it belongs to ZANU-PF. Then we want to wait, just wait. You must drink sewage water and drive on potholes until we get into power. Then we'll start fixing these roads. Because if we fix the roads right now, the credit will go to the ruling party. But who is suffering while we are waiting for you to get into power? I suggest that a strategy that would work would be that go back into parliament, go back into negotiations, get back into the discussions of peace, improve the lives of the people while you are driving your own political agenda on the side. We cannot hold people ransom to our political careers because of this messianic idea of what you think the country will be when you get into power. The real issue right now are the people. If you put people first, you'd want to know, why is the sewage water flowing in front of their house? And yet you are the owner of the city and you're not fixing that. And it is not for the first time. It is not for the second year. It is not for the third year. It is not for the fourth year. There's not even a plan right now to fix up some of those issues. Of course, in good information, in my own research, I have established that to fix up the water problem in the Chivero Dam will cost 9 million. 9 million to fix up the water issue. The man who is doing that, I interviewed him personally. And he says, yes, that's what I want right now to fix up the water problem. He took the proposal to the municipality and says, we can fix the water problem for 9 million. The same opposition party says, yes, it's good for 9 million, but can you make it 20 million? To which the man did not agree. And then the man was summoned to go to parliament. When he got to parliament, the information was that now, no. Can we make this contract 60 million? So tell me, between 9 million of fixing water in the Chivero Dam for Harare to drink and the 60 million that the MDC wants in Harare to fix up the water, who is chowing the difference between the 9 million and the 60 million? Is that the ZANU-PF government? Is that the MDC government? Is this the municipality managers? Is this the mayor? Is this the opposition leader? Verify this information for yourself. I have it. I have the information in my hand that to fix up the water problem in Harare will cost 9 million. 9 million. But yet the opposition party wants 60 million. So who is corrupt at the end of the day? This corruption story you keep on talking about. The city is in the hands of opposition. Who is corrupt? When people are drinking sewage water in Harare, we need to know as citizens who is causing that to happen. Is that the ruling party or the opposition party? Who is holding us ransom to our own resources? It's not a mistake. It's not a mistake that people are suffering and still doing slogans. There's no solutions in slogans. Now where we are moving on to national politics. How do we build a country? How do we build a nation? Not how do we make one man a leader of the country. He will get there also hungry like everybody else. Eat money like everybody else is eating. There's no righteousness in this whole business of thinking that so-and-so is better than so-and-so. The real issue at conversation is that those that are building are the ones that we want to start working with. Those that are doing construction and alleviating the poverty of our society. That becomes the direction. And I think this is where the greatest audience is actually stuck into. People simply want services delivered. not enhance political agendas. We simply want services delivered. We want our land, agriculture. We want our mines, that's our land. We want our trees, that's forestry. We want our houses, the Department of Housing. We want our tourism, that's traveling. We want things on the ground. And in passing and in closing, I want to pass on this issue of sanctions. No, let's vote, let's do the sanctions. You do the sanctions for who? You do the sanctions for the political party, or you do the sanctions for the people. At the end of the day, who suffers in the midst of the sanctions? Are these not the common people? Are we not getting the very same people we are going to be leading into poverty, into hunger and everything else? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a voice that is shouting from nowhere, but truly speaking from my heart of hearts, without any political inclination. If I should get home and I find that the road that goes to my mother's house has been fixed, I am happy. I am happy. If I find that the clinic is now working, I am happy. If I find the school is now functioning, I am happy. As to the political slogans and toying around that is happening around leadership, we need to start understanding something very important. The office of His Excellency President Mnangagwa is in two ways. There is the man himself who is here. Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, he is here. The next thing we need to discuss is the chair, the office that he represents, which is here. And I think too much anger confuses people. You cannot marry a person to a chair. A chair is the office that he represents. Him as an individual is an individual. Leaders come and go. The office remains in place. And I think opposition needs to start looking very intently at the office which delivers services for the people, rather than looking at a person. Because when you get confused between the person and the office, your politics become an individualistic, very neo-minded politics that simply says, I want me, my person, to be there. And if anyone else is not there, then this thing will not work. But at the end of the day, what is suffering is not the politics. What is suffering are the people. Ask yourself as opposition leaders, what are you doing to alleviate the problems of the society? People are running up and down in the streets doing slogans. When are they working? Right now, I heard the other day when I was in the farms down in Gweru there, the government has come up with a strategy, the 400 hectares of land that were taken by the black people. And again, Christians, I'll come to you another day. Because when this issue of land was being distributed, you did not support Mugabe. You said this was evil. You sided with the colonialists. Now we have a whole bunch of Christians standing at the door looking for the same land. Are you telling me that by becoming a Christian, you are not entitled to land? Poverty has become your password? Come on, get a life. Get a life out there. What's important right now, get involved in the programs that change your life. Get involved in the program that transform your own communities. Get involved in a vehicle that will enhance the dreams of the young people. We can't sacrifice a whole generation of young people waiting for one leader to get into power. This is neo-colonialistic politics, where opposition leaders are given money by foreign people and they are told, tell them that it is raining outside when it is no longer raining. We know it by now. All these opposition parties are pawns in the hands of the colonial system to drive a foreign agenda. And how long as Zimbabweans are we constantly going to fight party politics? It's time for national politics. Yours truly, Maponga J, Vudijana Chigaramboko, Garamashamba Huda Mwanosose. Bachere mangora na wapfuri bayo wira miti ya sose bana chiramba kusesera mpona ngokubone maja kumagara chirera na wana bayo banji makume mwana mwezi ndiwe shano wana mshamba negore until we see again.